Iron Sheik, welcome to the show. Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio. One of the best beat makers in the game for sure. The god of beats, he goes by Iron Sheik, Circle Iron, available on all platforms now. The new album. Welcome to the show, man. How's everything going?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Can't complain.
Exactly. You got a dope album. This real hip hop. You're keeping it true to the roots, to the core. That's what I respect most. That's the hip hop that's really needed out here, and especially in this digital age.
Right. That's what I grew up to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, all this other weird shit going on. That's some other shit. We need ice to get that shit out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's
We need that. We need
savage.
that. We need ice get that bullshit out of here, yo. The robot raps and all that. That shit is crazy, man. I don't like none of it. I don't support none of it. It's all fuckery. I don't give a fuck who like it, who don't. You know what I'm saying? All that bullshit is trash, yo.
Yeah, martial law. I'll
All of
tell you this. You mentioned Ice. I think we keep encroaching on martial law here. Shout out to Cool G Rap. You got him on this album too. That was fire.
yeah. G Rap, Lord Jamar, and Sadat X, man. The funny thing about that song is G Rap posted it on his page. Shout out to G Rap. That's my brother from another mother. Um, and people are going at Lord Jamar on that post, like, yo, yo, it's crazy the feed. I don't even know if these people like this. Okay, some people say, yeah, the song is dope. Why is Jamal on it? But for the most part, because of Jamal's views of flat Earth and all that, they just attacking him over that on that post. It's crazy. I'm like, what about the album? What about the record itself? Y'all lost sight of that. Y'all just want to just attack this man. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. And then Lord Jamal get up there. He talks about somebody's mother. It was wild, yo. I don't know, man. It was wild.
Yeah, they should probably. I get people's well, not the flat Earth thing, but I've seen some other things about Trump and things like that where I kind of understand people will get angry at, but they should probably leave that towards that content, respond to that content. Don't
Right?
bring that over to the album.
Right? G Rap might not post nothing of mine ever again over this, man. Like, damn. I'm like, yo, I take it far, man. Let time will reveal who's right, yo.
It will.
But yeah, martial law. Another funny story about that too is originally, um, Immortal Technique was supposed to be on that song. Okay, originally, but he came to the studio here, Iron Chamber, him and Poison Pen, and he just really couldn't produce anything. You know what I'm saying? We was here, we was waiting, and it took me a year to get him here. Or was it 2 years? You know what I'm saying? To get him here. And when he finally get here, and he had to beat the right to. He just never wrote to it. I guess he thought he was going to get here and be on some evil Knievel crash out shit, but it didn't work, yo. He couldn't produce nothing. He did write a verse, but he wasn't proud of it. He left it with me. I'm like, this is how you want to go out? This is how you want people to remember you? And then he was like, nah, I don't want. So I was like, yo, I just took the verse and just, saying I couldn't do nothing with it. So he was like, nah, I don't want it to come out. So I was like, fuck it. And, it's not a problem. And he told me he'd be back in 2 weeks. He never showed up, never called, nothing. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And me and Tech go back a ways.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, fuck it. I ain't let nobody stop me. So I called my bro G, and G jumped on it. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? And then he set the tone. And then on top of that, Tech was like, yo, I got a song coming out called Martial Law, and I don't know if you should drop your shit. Fuck out of here. Talking about I shouldn't, you gonna let me know I should drop my shit. I do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't own the term martial law. You know what I mean? So I did it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna tell me what I'm gonna do and what I'm not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. I don't know what that was about, but you know what I mean. It's out. You know what I'm
Out.
saying?
Oh yeah, it's out. And
So,
I really love the cover art for this album too. It's got everyone painted on. It was an art piece. Who did the artwork for this?
oh man, my brother, Culture Freedom, man. That brother is so talented. Um, I know I'm a pain in his neck, you know, because he okay, so like we got this, you know what I'm saying, um this artwork, right? I've always wanted you know, because I grew up, I'm a like a I'm like a 80s, late 70s, 80s baby. Okay. So I used to walk down 42nd Street in New York and see, you know, all the movies like Bruce Lee and this before Jet Li, man. It was just Bruce Lee up and down 42nd Street. You know what I'm saying? Three the Hard Way. You know what I'm saying? All of the dope movies. And I was always fascinated with the posters.
Mm.
Because when you get out there, back in those days, I know this is before, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Um, when you go to the movie theater, before you go in, they have a screen outside and they show a preview of the movie that they're showing. So you can sit outside and because they had a burger spot right next to it, and right there you can just sit there and watch all of the previews and shit, and decide what movie you're gonna go in. You know what I'm saying? And then they had an artwork up there. I was always looking at the artwork. You know what I mean? And then it just stuck with me. Just became a part of my growth and development. You know, so which splashed into my graffiti world too. You know what I'm saying? So I was always fascinated with like uh uh Superfly, you know what I'm saying, Black Caesar, you know, Shaft, all those movie posters, uh Foxy Brown, Coffee, you know what I'm saying? Those posters was crazy. So
Hmm.
we did the Capadonna album that I produced. This one right, same thing. But the difference with this is um I merged. It still has the movie cover, the movie poster feel,
Hmm.
but you know what I'm saying? If you notice it, I don't know if you have this album. Um, I made Cap like 007, James Bond.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I called it The Man with the Iron Darts from The Man with the Golden Gun. You know what I mean? So if y'all don't have this album, y'all got to get this.
Got to get that
You
album.
know what I'm saying? I did this dropped last March of last year.
Wow.
You know
I
what
got
I'm
to
saying?
get that one. I didn't even tune into that. I got to tune into that one. Last
Yeah,
one I think I
Cap.
tuned into was Black Tarzan.
Yeah, see that's I ain't even gonna talk about that. But this album right here, he kept this a secret. You know what I mean? Just basically shelved his own album. I don't know, what was the meaning of that, but um, this is a really dope album, G. I'm telling you, like we didn't. This is a very organic album. This
Hmm.
isn't like I sent him the beat and then he recorded somewhere else to sent me the vocals. No, he was right here on this mic, and I was right here on my console, and we recorded this thing together. You know what I'm saying? It took me 3 years to finish this album.
Wow.
Okay. I take my time when it
Mhm.
comes to projects, man. You know what I'm saying? And this album, this here,
Mhm.
okay, let me show you something, brother. This is like my Into the 36 Chambers. This is my purple tape.
The purple tape.
And I'm not lying.
I believe you. I got to check out the Capadonna one though. I listened to
I'm
your album. I got to check out this one.
I'm not exaggerating. This is the Into the 36.
That's the
This
purple tape.
Now, let me tell you something. Uh Master Killer was on your show recently.
Yes.
All right, that's my brother too. But he's on both of these albums.
Hmm.
Okay. So Master Killer, you know, working. He was here too. He was right here. Everybody usually come right here to record. Planet Asia, everybody. Aguilar, everybody. So so like, to have them, have them both on both of these projects. Because Cap was like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna get anybody on this. He was really, because if you notice, like, you look at Black Tarzan and um the all his other joints, what I'm saying, that he released, what I'm saying, he didn't really have a Wu-Tang presence on those projects. I sought to change all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to establish, one, he is, a major part of Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I'm saying? He and I have been fighting that for years. Even when I used to manage him, they was calling him the unofficial 10th member and all that dumb shit. So we had to fight against that. And, putting out quality shit. So a lot of brothers in the clan didn't even know I made beats. They just knew me for managing Kappa. Because I managed him for 7.5 years. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't even know they didn't even know I was, musically inclined. So when I did the tracks and I reached out to Deck, I reached out to Killer, I reached out to Priest, you know what I'm saying? I reached out to everybody to get on that album, Cap's album, Sadat X, you know what I'm saying? It's a star-studded lineup, you know what I'm saying? Onyx is on here. Infamous Mob is on here. You know what I'm saying?
Capone's on there.
Who?
Capone. You got Capone on the new album too.
Cap's album.
This is for Cap's album. Okay.
Yeah. Onyx not on my album. They on Cap's album.
Cap's album.
Planet Asia, Onyx, Master Killer, Infamous Mob, Inspector Deck, Killer Priest, Aguilar, Sadat X. Dope lineup.
Heavy hitters.
Hot. From beginning to end. Dope. The last one to get on the album was Twin. He barely made it. In fact, the music go off. Like, the music just run out. He's still rapping. Like, he barely made, by the skin of his teeth. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even extend the beat anymore. You know what I'm saying? The beat just ran out. He was like, yo, that's the song right there. So we made it, and it sounds really dope. Another thing too, I wanted to make a difference with Cap's album is the fiasco with Black Tarzan's artwork. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was like, real disrespectful, speaking against Cap and his artwork, you know what I'm saying? And I understand Cap's point of view of it, because, he said he designed it. That's his thought, you know what I'm saying? And I respect that. But at the same time, the fans expect things too. You know what I mean? You got to respect the fans as well. You know what I mean? You can't be like, put the bar up here and the fans expect it to be up here. And the next thing you know, you pull a flicker flocker and you drop the bar down here. According to the fans, I'm not saying it's down here, but that's how the fans view it. You know what I mean? Because they talk to me, they DM me and shit like that. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I reiterated their expression to him, and he just took it like, yo, that's my vision. That's how I wanted to do the look, and that's it. I designed it myself. I was like, respect. But I didn't want that to happen with this, so I kind of took control of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that got the artwork design, the promo, you know what I'm saying? Even the title. Because this is not the original title. The original title was Iron Baseball Cap. And I was like, there's no way the fans is going to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Especially coming after the Black Tarzan thing. It's not. It's just I just don't see it working. So and I was just like, well, Cap, I just view it as Cap was just like stretching himself really, really thin, and he didn't have enough time to really meditate on the project. Especially he didn't even know exactly the theme of the sound of it and all that. So sonically, so I was like, well, being I'm living with the music and all that, I think I'm the best one qualified to um come up with a name. And I have to admit, it took me a while to come up with a name because I just couldn't get past Iron Baseball Cap. You know what I'm saying? But once it hit me, I was like, yo, I want to take it a different route. You know what I'm saying? 007 James Bond, because Cap is a ladies' man. He is. You know what I'm saying? So, he is a ladies' man. I tell you, no lie. So I was like, yo, James Bond, da da da. So I was like, yeah, let's do it like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we came up with it. You know what I'm saying? And boom. And when I showed it to him, I let him see the artwork. I had the artwork, the promo, the whole layout and everything. We saw it. He loved it. He was like, yeah, that's it. So that was it. You know what I'm saying? So, even when you put these albums side by side, they look like they belong together.
Mhm. They
You
do.
know? So it's like a continuation. Cap's album is like a continuation of the Circle of Iron, even though Cap's album dropped first.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it took me 7 years to do my album.
It's a long
Seven
time,
years.
and you could tell there's a lot of effort into it. And is this considered the double album? Is this what you consider it a double album?
Yeah, this is double album. As far as vinyl is concerned, because vinyl only allows you so much space. You know what I'm saying? But on the CD, you got 80 minutes, 78, 80 minutes. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like, you know, um, 18 joints, 19 joints on the album. You know what I'm saying? Um, the digital has like a little Easter egg. Like the digital download has an intro, but the CD it don't have the intro. It just go right into the album. You know what I'm saying? I like the intro because it expresses what the album is about. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? As long as they get the meat of the message and the meat of the production, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Um, and everybody that's on it, you know what I'm saying? They're all alchemists and magicians and high scientists with their art, man. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, you know what I mean? From Shabazz the Disciple, Rapanoid, Cannabis, Red and Meth, they're all um specialists in what they do, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just thankful, and I have to say, I didn't realize the gravity of this project, the Circle of Iron, until recently.
Why is that?
Um, well, number one, these guys, these guys are all my brothers. I
Mm.
don't see them as, yo, that's Planet Asia, that's Tragedy Gaddafi. I don't. Me and Trash, just me and Trash alone go back to the '80s as
Queens.
yeah, as friends. You know what I'm saying, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my brother. Okay. Um, who else? That. I mean, they just G-Rap. I mean, Lord Jamal. These are just my bros. Pat Poose. These are my bros. I don't, like friend, like we shot ball together. Different things. We
Mhm.
not with all of them, but with all of them, I have a different dynamic. But we're just. I never done music with any of them until this project.
Wow.
So when they said, when they heard that I was doing the project, when I told them, it was like, nah, you make beats, girl. I was like, yeah. It was like, let me hear something. So it was like, oh shit, that's you. I'm like, yeah, G, I got a studio and everything. What? I'm like, yeah. See, because I went on a hiatus, a 7, 8 year hiatus working with Cap. So a lot of people didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
before I got with Don, I was shooting a DVD called True Grind.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I was interviewing the artists and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And getting their performances. This is during the Smack DVD era.
All
So I
those, are,
put
yeah.
so I put that on hold. That and my music on hold to work with Kappa. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because he was going through different changes and he couldn't trust nobody. So I was like, yo, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So boom. And that's how it started.
And,
And
and you've been doing this for a while. I mean, when you look back, it kind of all starts. Well, we could get into the early history because it was you wanted to get into music because of the park jams that you used to hear. So, do you remember your first park jam that you actually went to?
I remember that shit like it was just like I just walked in from it 5 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Damn, bro. I was a little guy. I guess I was about 11 years old. No, no, no. What a park jam? Yeah, yeah. I was about 11. Um, and it was at this park in Queens in Cambria Heights. Um, it was called 176 Park. You know what I'm saying? And they had, you know, it was between that park 176 and I can't remember the name of the other park on Francis Lewis. You know, there's another park. So like those two parks was like the battlegrounds for the local crews. You know what I'm saying? And the crew that used to come through the park more steadily than others was a group of brothers named Master Plan. And once I seen that, cause like once I seen that, I was like so amazed. I was like, yo, is this supposed to happen? Because they came in a van and bikes. They had amps under their arm, turntables and crates on a bike. It was, you know, and they all rallied together, popped open the light pole. Somebody brought tables out. I'm talking about like a regular table, and they put the turntables up there, set up the equipment. And I'm actually watching this happen. I'm like, yo, what are these guys? I didn't know what they was doing. And then when I heard the music come on, I was like, wow. I got on my bike, rolled to my block. I told everybody, I was like, yo, there's some brothers in the park with DJ equipment. So we all ran down there and they was playing and they were just playing mad music, you know, Cass was rapping and it was amazing. Uh and to see the rappers, you know, come out and do their thing, it was just like a phenomenon. It was like watching a comet go through the sky.
Hmm.
It was really amazing. And, you know, that was the end all be all. So like when, you know, somebody had the idea to take a box, you know, what you call the radio boom box, right?
Hmm.
We call it a box, not a boom box. Okay. Somebody had the intelligence to take a box and put on speaker and press record. Somebody had the intelligence to do that. Okay. And they recorded all that. And yo, that tape went all over the city. All over the city. Okay. And that was our internet. That was our Spotify. That was our iTunes. That was our streaming. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
A cassette tape, Master Plan, battling Divine Sounds, and it was just it was a sight to see, man. It was like a miracle. And then you had the B boys come out. You know what I mean? So the whole park was super active because the DJ was set up in the swing area where the swings were, okay,
Mhm.
because it was close to the curb where the light poles were, where the electrical source was at. And then um in the handball course, you got cats doing graffiti, broad daylight, and the cops wouldn't bother us. Like, they didn't come. They would pull up and sit and pull and bounce because they didn't know what to make of it. They
Mhm.
just saw niggas playing music and dancing and having a good time. They wasn't, at that time, they, you know, they didn't come and fuck with us, the police.
Mhm.
They didn't fuck with us. They didn't break it. Oh, get the hell out of here. Y'all, going against the noise ordinance and all that shit. They didn't do any of that, man. Never, 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 never. You know what I'm saying? It was always start and finish. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Even the battles was crazy. The battles is like how Rock the Bells Festival used to be. Let me give you an understanding of that.
Mhm.
You know how you go to the festivals and they have this stage over here with Motor Technique, this stage over here with Nas, that stage over there with DOS Effects. That's how it was in the park. Like crews were set up in designated areas in the park, and they would take turns playing. It was very organized. But when the MC, and the DJs got it popping, it's like, yo, you can't turn them dudes off. You know what I'm saying? So, so the other crews is like, yo, they're going too long. The other crews is over there beefing and they trying to find records to throw on to top that record that they got going on. You know what I'm saying? It was very, hip hop was alive. This
Mhm.
this today is not this is not hip hop today, okay? And I tell my people this all the time that if you wanna see hip hop, hip hop is not on the internet. It's not in the industry shit. It's not on stage. It's not on tour. It's not the music videos. Hip hop is in the streets. That's what hip hop is, man. Hip
Mhm.
hop is not cats rapping and rhyming. Those are MCs. Those are rappers. Okay. Hip hop is the cultural name for what we do. Okay.
True.
Hip hop is not music. Okay. Rap music is the music of the hip hop culture. Period. You know what I'm saying? Graffiti is the art form, the creative art form or the illustrative art form of the culture of hip hop. Okay, the
Mhm.
clothing that we wear, my hat turned to the side, right? That style of wearing your hat is the influence of going against the system as well as making a cultural statement in how I dress, which is considered b-boy, which is the influence of how a citizen dresses and walk and dance or whatever in the culture of hip hop. That's a citizen thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it breaks down. It's not, yo, this is real hip hop right here. No, real hip hop is the elements that exist that makes up a culture. And what do you need to make up a culture? You need a man, woman, and a child. That's what makes up a culture. Okay. So, and the man and the woman and the child, their way of life and how they live and how they walk and talk is hip hop. That's
Yeah.
how it's, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, like, people got it misconstrued because they let these Europeans come in and change everything, change the the narrative as well as the paradigm on how the culture is supposed to be lived out.
True. And they're pushing people because I don't know if you might have saw it. I don't know how in tune you are with the newer hip hop streamers and different things like that because I know one of them, Kai Cenat, he doesn't even know. Are you familiar with Wale, the artist Wale? Are you familiar with him at all?
I heard of him.
Yeah. Well, this streamer didn't even know how to pronounce his name. His name's Kai Cenat, but he didn't know who Wale was. I think he called him Wally. And it really is disappointing to see that people of today don't know the artists that came previous to them. Where you were a fan of the people that you came up with and were before you, were people in my generation and younger, they probably don't have even heard of Wu-Tang, which is crazy. It's like it's sickening. And the industry's pushing these streamers to run these shows to interview people like that, and they don't give any spotlight to the legends, and they don't hire anyone that's connecting the gap. There's no one there. They're pushing artists that aren't even in that same bracket as a lyricist. It's crazy.
Let me ask you a question. Have you seen this book called? It's a pictorial book called Back in the Days. You ever seen that?
I haven't seen that.
You should get that book. It's by a brother named Jamal Shabazz.
Hmm.
I suggest you get that book.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that.
Word, get that book. Yo, he was taking pictures for like 25, 30 years. So all of the trends that came and went, you see every single trend from the door knocker earrings, the sheepskin coats, to the gabardines, the British Walkers, Wileys, Proceds, Pumas, yo, the bomber jackets, the Gazelles,
All the glasses, the name belts too. They had the name belts.
the name change, brother. You see all that in that book. For back in the days, gotta get that book,
I
man.
gotta get that.
You're gonna be like, yo, you gonna go back and you got children?
No, I'm only 25.
Oh, that's all right. You gonna go back to your boys and be like, yo, look at this. Look, y'all. This is the shit right here. Cause you know, it's like a book. I mean, a time capsule in a book form.
Hmm. That's
And
fire.
it's that, I suggest people to get that book, to look at Star Wars documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. DJ K Slay, he was involved with the graffiti and everything.
That's my brother.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yo, listen, man. K Slay is responsible for this.
Wow.
Let me tell you, short story. So when he was doing the last part of his project, the 200 MCs,
Hmm.
so I hit him up. So I was like, yo, G, peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, why you don't have Capadonna on that joint, man? He's like, yo, I tried to get Cap on it, hit him up on his Instagram, but nobody responded. I said, get out. I said, Cap is very active on his Instagram. You know what I'm saying? He's like, where's Bong, guy? I tried to hit him up, boom, 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 but I can't, you know what I'm saying, get in touch with him. He's like, a lot of these dudes I can't get in touch with. I said, like, who else? He said, Rakim. I said, oh, no. Oh, no. I said, yeah, Rod is the ghost of all ghosts, yo. I said, you ain't gonna get him on no text. You ain't gonna get him on no phone call. You ain't gonna get him on no email. You ain't gonna get him. I don't give a fuck if you take a piece of paper, write a message on that shit, put it in a bottle, and throw it in the ocean. He ain't gonna get it, man, and he's not gonna respond. I said, you got to get in front of Rakim, in front of him, in his face, and be like, bruh, I need a verse now. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you're going to get it. That's the only way you're going to get it. True story. So I said, yo, but as far as Cap, that's nothing. That's my bro. I call him, you know what I'm saying, get y'all talking. So I call Cap, three-way them into the call. They started talking, boom, 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 boom. And then, they made their arrangements. And then Cap was like, yo, I always wanted to work with Pat Poose, man. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, me and Slay was like, yo, that's easy. That's like, yo, God, I got it. I'll get you in touch with Pap. You know what I'm saying? As long as y'all two talk, and they did. Case sent them the beat and everything. Then right after that, he went into the hospital. I mean, literally, like right after, like a day, 2 days later, he was in the hospital. And I'm texting him, and I had me and Pat was talking because I got him and Cap on the phone, and Pat was like just telling me, he's like, "Yo, I just finished talking with Slay. He said he almost checked out last night." I'm like, "For real?" I was like, "Yeah." So I when Pat told me that, I hit Click K right away. You know what I'm saying? Because I was talking to him about the Circle of Iron. I said, "Yo, I'm going through the same thing, man." You know what I'm saying? I was supposed to get Ghostface on there, and Ghost promised me and promised me and promised me, but I know he's very elusive. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't. I couldn't get him on there. But me and him was talking. So um, Pap and Capadonna did a song called Reincarnation that I produced. You know what I'm saying? From that conversation. Um, then right after that, K Slate passed away. But I told him, I was like, yo, I'm gonna represent you on this project because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be doing this. So so when he passed, I was just like, yo, man, I gotta put this project out. So I was just trying to find a home for the album and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, Cap didn't get on the 200 MCs because K Slade passed away. And, the person that was in charge tried to finish it or did finish it. They didn't reach out to Cap. I told him what was up, but, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't happen. But in any case, I got them talking. So that's the best part.
Mhm.
Also, um, I wanted to say that, you know what I'm saying, I had seen Rakim right after, not right after that, but I seen Rakim after that. And I told him about me and K Slade's conversation. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, God, you should have got on that. You know what I mean? You should have gotten on that one, brother. No matter if it was bread involved or not, you should have got on that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, I know I just couldn't catch up with him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, you can't be doing that, G, because you never know. Because tomorrow's not promised
It
for
isn't.
no one. You know what I'm saying? You miss out on an opportunity like that. And it's like, yo, because he thought you was just brushing him off, giving him the cold shoulder. He was like, nah, nah. I said, yeah, G, but that's the impression. How are we supposed to interpret it if you don't tell us anything?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Actions speak louder than words, right?
They
So how
do.
are we supposed to interpret it, G? You know what I'm saying? The first thing that we deal with as 5%ers is knowledge. So if you don't tell us what it is, we have to go on our own accord. So I said, yo, I'm doing my project. I'm almost done with it. You know what I'm saying? And I was about to give up on it, but Slay gave me motivation. You know what I'm saying? And then Rakim turns around and say, yo, just send me a beat. I'll give you a verse for it. I'll send you a verse for it. I was like, what? I didn't even ask him to get on the project. He was like, yo, just send me a beat. He's like, I'm in the process of doing this the Rebirth album. But as soon as I get done with that, you know what I'm saying, let me know and I'll send you the verse. I was like, wow. And I thought about it for a minute after I came out the clouds. I thought about it for a minute. I was like, I'm gonna be waiting another 5 years for this verse. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Rakim. Um, so I was like, I didn't wait on it, man. I hit him up once. You know what I'm saying? But I know he was still dealing with the album. So I was like, I'm going to just go ahead, man. But I'm going to holler at him again when I can. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be back out here next month. So I'll holler at him when I can. But that was, everything is connected, G.
It is.
See that? You know what I'm saying? Everything is connected. Everything is connected. So, that's how that came to be, man. That, so when you look at, I don't know if you get the vinyl, you got the vinyl yet, but the vinyl, I got a dedication um in there, you know what I'm saying, as and the CD too, where I shout them all out, like in the CD, you know what I'm saying, K Slay right here,
Wow.
Prodigy, my uncle Alar B, Cap's mom, Papa Wu.
That's love. Yeah, that's
You know what I'm
respect.
saying?
Hmm.
So, and there's others in there like Pumpkinhead and other greats that I shouted out, man, that I had love for, you know what I'm saying? But it's a dope album, G, and like I said, I didn't understand the gravity of it until recently, and because I stopped listening to the album because I had it for a long time.
Hmm.
And when I picked it up and listened to it again, I was like, "Yo, this," because I thought the beats was dated. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yo, I might have to go back and remix a few beats." You know what I'm saying, to bring it up to date. But I was like, "Nah, I really don't. It sound good. I mixed it. I mixed it and mastered it myself.
I
You
don't
know?
think you needed to. It's a pure hip hop album to me. It's
Yeah, yeah. And it's not, and you know how like quality isn't a big thing nowadays.
no, absolutely not, especially with the newer generation.
Yeah, they do a whole album and they settle for MP3s.
Hmm.
MP3 was a joke. Like you give somebody a CD and it's all MP3s, that shit sound like trash. But nowadays people allow that to slide. And
They
I knew
do.
what happened. I knew once they started using auto tune and talking like robots, and I knew the quality of people's palate was going to go down.
Mhm.
Because once they water that down, then your taste for good music is going to be watered down as well. You're going to start accepting what's given to you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like I knew that was going to happen. So you know, with this album, I played it in different mediums, and how you have tracks that's louder than others. Now I don't hear. Everything is, you know what I mean? So I must do a Circle of Iron 2 as well. You know what I'm saying? I already got ideas for that. You know what I'm saying? I spoke to some people already about getting on it. Like I spoke to Razkaz and a few others. Um, that's gonna be dope. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
fire. Your Soul on Ice. Yeah, I love Raz. Shout out to Razkaz. I've had him on the show. Yeah, that's another heavy hitter MC right there.
Yeah, yeah. Raz. He was originally supposed to be on this,
Okay.
but he was too busy, and schedule. See, that's what this whole thing is about: scheduling. I have to go by their schedules. Like there's people that didn't even make like Immortal Technique didn't make the album, and I waited a whole year and whatever for him for nothing, right? Killer Priest and Prodigal Son came here to record to get on the album. Did a whole song, and I waited a whole year for Priest too. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't make the cut. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people recorded for this project that I have in the stash didn't make the cut.
Man. Now, would they potentially probably get on the second album, Circle of Iron 2? Is that something that you're going to consider, or are you going to want to start completely new material?
Yeah, I'm gonna start new material. Um, yeah, I'm gonna start some new material with that. I don't want to, that production to get on the second joint. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mhm.
gonna just leave that be. Um, I got one joint that is ready to go. I was going to drop it as a bonus track for this. You know what I'm saying? But I decided I'm gonna keep it and just put that on the Circle of Iron 2. Is a joint with Planet Asia. It's a posse cut. It's a
Okay.
posse cut. with Planet Asia, Shabazz the Disciple, Capadonna, and Prodigal Son.
That's
Nice.
fire.
Yeah, yeah. And 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 the crazy part is as far as the production is concerned, as far as the production is me cutting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not in the video though. We started shooting the video and I got my man uh what's his name? And DJ Eclipse. Not the one from New York, the one from LA.
Okay.
It's actually cutting in the video. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do any cutting. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
it's a dope song, man. But I got that for a Circle Line too. So I'm gonna lead off with that. But I got some dope videos for the album here. I got a video with Aguilar, Militant Minded, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you saw that video, but it's dope, man.
I
Um,
listened to the song. I listened to the audio of everything. So yeah, I did check out that one.
yeah, the video was crazy. Where my uncle Allah B, he intros the song. And to have that man on the project, you know what I'm saying? That's special to me
Hmm.
because I don't know if you're familiar with the 5% Nation, but um he he's a staple in the nation that started the guards in the Bronx.
Hmm.
So the 5%ers started in the Bronx with him. So
Okay.
he's a major staple within the nation, even though he passed away some years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I have him here. His voices forever remain. But uh but the song Militant Minded is crazy. Aguilar did his thing on that video. Shout out to Aguilar, your crazy ass. He did his thing. He came out there and he showed out. Wonderful, beautiful performance. Everything was great. Very Aguilar was extremely professional. And I use the word extreme because everybody, some people have bad things to say about that brother, but I understand. A lot of people don't. Even New Yorkers sometimes don't understand New York, attitude. Sometimes a New Yorker's attitude is too aggressive or too passive aggressive or too so-called narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes New Yorkers can't take it. And we have that with us sometimes, you know what I mean? So people will be like, yo, Aguilar's a drunk, he's this and that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got an uncle like that in their family. You know what I'm saying? So like that's Aguilar. You know what I mean? Period. I'm not gonna love him no less because what I'm saying, he got issues. That's just his thing. We're all of us are a work in progress. Um, but in any case, what I'm saying, I implore you to go watch that video. It's called Militant Minded. And I got another video up on YouTube called I did with Shabazz the Disciple, Death Be the Penalty Part 2. Yo, that video is crazy. So like, unlike what people do with music videos, you know what I'm saying, be it standing in front of a wall of graffiti or standing on a block in front of a bodega or whatever. I chose to go about things in a different way, which is renting a movie set or closed set, you know what I'm saying, and shoot my videos in there because it gives it a concept.
Hmm.
So if I shoot it in a courtroom setting, then we're going, the basis or the theme of the video is that you're going to be in court. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I did. You know what I'm saying with Shabazz's video and with Aguilar's video. Like yo, you got to go check those videos out, man. You know what
I
I'm
gotta check
saying?
them out.
Yeah. And I'm about to drop a new video because I got four. I'm about to drop a new video. The next one is with Crisis from the Black Knights. Um, called um, Duty of the Civilized.
Mm.
And that's a really nice video. And being that, Crisis is from LA, what I'm saying? And he's very familiar with the gangs, what I'm saying, out here in LA. And I wanted to do a song where, we gotta try to like convince the youth, what I'm saying, that lifestyle really doesn't lead you anywhere, what I'm saying, you want to end up at, what I'm saying? So that's a very good a lot of really this album, I guess, because somebody said to me the other day, it's like, yo, everybody on the album is rapping. They're not rapping like how they normally rap. You know what I'm saying? It's very conscious, very message heavy. I was like, and they was like, yeah, Sheik, that's deep. How you got everybody like? I said, no, no, no. I don't have anybody rapping any kind of way. All I did was play the beat, and they did what they did. Because I
Mhm.
had the same conversation with G Rap. I was like, yo, G, why? I was like, yo, man, why did you rap like that? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, Sheik, because that's the nature of our relationship. Because we don't talk about music. We get on the phone and we talk like men. We fathers, you know what I'm saying? We got children. We talk about knowledge. We go through everything. We go through a Quran, we'll go through a Bible, we'll go through some lessons, we'll go through whatever, you know what I'm saying? And we just talk about real things.
Mm.
We never hardly ever talk about, yo, I'm in the studio, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm working with this person. We hardly ever talk about, and mind you, me and G got almost 30 years together, our
A long
relationship.
time.
That's what it is with these brothers, man. When I get on the phone or we talk, like Master Killer, for example, you know, um, that's my that's my bro. Like, we'll get on the phone, we go through it. He and I, we travel in our minds when we talk on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And we always it's always a lot of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of understanding being you know accepted in the end, and it's very stimulating our conversation. You know what I'm saying? And like, yo, it's never like I always feel charged up. You know what I'm saying? Um, so a lot of like another brother that was supposed to be on the album too, he didn't make the cut. AZ didn't make the cut.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got a whole song done. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Yo, God, could I put that? Could I put that on the mixtape?" I was like, go ahead, go right ahead." You know what I'm saying? Even though I being that you didn't make the cut, I used that beat for something else.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I gave that's the beat that Red Man and Method Man is on. Go ahead, it's out now, so go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Um, so me and AZ supposed to do an album together.
That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that because he's been on a run now with Do or Die 2. He just released another one after that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yo, I'm ready. I'm ready for that project. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So but that, and I have artists of my own. You know what I'm saying? I got three brothers that I'm working with, and they very very talented. Um, one, you know, and it's hard to find people that who are lyrically inclined, that fits your mold and gets it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like corral them and pull the reins and like, yo, doing too much. These guys just go in and they just beast, beast, beast on the mic. So like one of my young brothers, his name is Habit the Jeweler.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? He's out of Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? He's crazy with it. And then I got another brother named Almighty Arms. You know what I'm saying? He's in Oakland, California. That's 6 hours away from me. But he bounces back and forth from LA to Oakland. And then I have another brother who 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 is a he's like a semi legend out here in LA. His name is Detain.
Mhm.
Um, he's crazy. He had dropped some music. You could look him up too. He had dropped some music. He dropped a joint with Killer Priest. You might want to check that one out. You know
I'll
what
have to
I'm saying?
check
About,
that.
about 7 years ago, I think it was. You know what I'm saying? But he had took a hiatus and now he's coming back with me. And yo, these three, they're all individual artists. They're all solo artists. Okay. But they also come together to form Voltron too. And the name of the group is called God Mob. Now, God Mob album, I promise you, you're gonna be like, yo, this album is the sickest album I ever heard, B. I promise you. Beat is crazy.
I believe it.
I swear to you. The beats is crazy. Crazy. I went all in on these beats, bro. Um, and oh man, I can't even explain it because these guys shocked the shit out of me, especially Habit. You know what I'm saying? He shocked the shit out of me. They all dope. They're all dope lyricists. They all, yo, Max, trust me when I tell you, brother. When this album dropped, the God Mob album dropped, man, yo, a lot people gonna be in trouble. These dudes is like they're like a West Coast Locks.
That's different. That's different. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never heard of that's going to be a first for me to hearing that, like a West Coast. I don't think we've never seen that.
yo, bro. These dudes is they're just amazing. And their whole premise is they just want to like help keep the culture alive and well and pay it forward. That,
That's how a lot of artists should. I respect that. A lot of the artists today, it's all social media gimmicks and
mhm.
trends. We know how it is, and they really
All
don't care.
guys hate social media. They don't like that shit, not one bit. Abby be telling me, yo, this hashtag shit is getting on my nerves. I don't be liking that shit. I don't give a fuck about the social media. I'm like, yo, I don't write the songs, G. I just sing them. In order for people to take notice of you, you gotta hashtag the shit to death. You gotta, put certain words and it's like being in a Masonic lodge and shit. Like you don't know the special code and shit to get viral. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but my guys is from that era, you know what I'm saying? They was right there during the golden era, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's another thing too. My guys do not sound like they from Cali. They sound like they're from the East.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You'll see. Once I drop, like, once I drop these guys, yo, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I believe it. I'm looking forward to hearing this. Because there's a lot that I do want to get into, but just speaking about newer generation artists, because were you around when Drake had Capadonna just said talk to him on the record, but were you around when Drake and Capadonna kind of he had that little voiceover into I think it was the Tuscan Leather song. Are you kind of, what are your thoughts on Drake? Because I feel as though there's things I like about him and there's things I don't like about him. The ghostwriting I don't like, the blackface I don't like, the the weird things that he does, the nail painting and the clout chasing and all that. So what's your thoughts on an artist like Drake? Because I do like that he gives shout outs to Wu-Tang and gives props to legends, but then there's suspect behavior. So what's your thoughts on an artist like Drake?
Drake is part of the trap.
Hmm.
He's part of the trap, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't acknowledge him whatsoever. Um, I've ever since I've known, I ever since I saw him on Degrassi, you know what I'm saying?
Wheelchair Jimmy.
That right there tells you, he's an agent.
He's an Asian. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's not funny, G. He is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's here to destroy. He's here for a purpose, to destroy the culture.
Hmm.
How does he enhance the culture?
He doesn't, in my opinion.
All right then. So that's pork, bro. I don't eat that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck who don't like it. You know what I'm saying? He's an agent, man.
Hmm.
He's the see, yo, let me put you like this, bro. If I was to take this era, if I had the strength, let's say, no, I don't want to use my shit for that. Let's say this phone is this era,
Hmm.
right? If I could take this era and put it in the 90s, 2000s, right?
Hmm.
And are you aware of that era?
The 90s, absolutely.
All right. And I want you to be straight up with me, man. If I take the shit from this era and put it out in the 90s and 2000s, would it be accepted?
No.
All right, then. So that answers all your questions, B. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, all that shit, and I know I'm gonna step on a lot of toes. I'm gonna step on a lot of toes with this. That goes for Kendrick Lamar too.
Ooh, oh, that's in a okay. I want to hear. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, he's not saying anything. He's like he's like eating cotton candy for breakfast, man. There's no nutritional value whatsoever. You know, if you say just because you scream Harriet Tubman and shit like that in your rap, that don't mean nothing. We been did that. We been did that with Public Enemy. We did that with X Clan. We did that with Poor Righteous Teachers. We did that with Queen Latifah. We did that with Jungle Brothers. We did that with Brand Nubian. Come on, man. We did that with Lakim Shabazz, Big Daddy Kane. Come on, man. Come on, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna step on a lot of toes because Kendrick's he's smoking hot right now. I did go for him with the Drake beef because I do feel as though Kendrick's more hip hop than Drake, obviously.
Oh my God. See, how can you say that, G? Based upon what?
With that Kendrick is more hip hop than Drake.
Yeah.
I would say lyrically 100%. He's more hip hop than Drake. He is from he wasn't in the streets, but he was around it. He's authentic. He's
Oh,
not
okay.
Drake is an agent. You mentioned he's on Degrassi. He's a straight up agent.
Okay. Let me just say this. Young young Kendrick, all right.
Mhm. Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. But this right here?
This
No.
it's more mainstream.
No.
Hmm.
Young Kendrick, and when he was doing mixtapes and all that shit, all right, cool. I got it.
Hmm.
Yes, he was doing it. The same way with Nicki Minaj before before all of the fucking Barbie shit. She was like a female Biggie.
Hmm.
Okay, that was dope. But that shit she's doing now is trash.
Hmm.
That shit Kendrick is doing now is trash. See, it's to me that's that Eminem type of thing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change. It does nothing for the culture. Let me explain to you about further. See, that's what I'm saying. The palette goes down, and yours did. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Check this out. When you had MCs, rappers, artists that come to the game, right, and they bring in something, and it influenced the whole game. All right, that's hip hop. That's talent. That's in, saying, paying it forward and moving it forward and furthering it. Here's a prime example. DOS Effects. When they came out, I don't know if you're familiar.
They want effects.
Right. Everybody changed their rap style. Diggity, 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 diggity. Everybody did. LL Cool J, everybody. Right or wrong?
Yeah. If Fat Joe mentioned it on his record with G-Rap that everyone's trying to sound like DOS Effects, that he was sick of hearing it.
But they came with something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's the type of shit I'm talking about. So when an artist come, he bring a brick to build, to add on to the culture. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and then you have people like Tretch from Naughty by Nature, right? Wise Intelligent from Poor Righteous Teachers, right? And Twister, right? And old boy from Fu Schnickens. And the father of that style is Jaz-O, Jay-Z's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You further in the culture. You bringing something, right? Okay, fast forward. Let's fast forward. Mobb Deep. Yo, Thun. Yo, Thun. Yo, Thun. Everybody had the Thun language. Right or wrong?
Right.
That's what I'm saying, G. Like, what the fuck these niggas talking about, man? See, I could say that because I know what I'm talking about. Nobody can debate me on this, G. You can't. You're the host of this show. This is your shit. And I'm challenging you. Yo, what did they bring? Yo, what?
Trust me, man. I used to be really against the new generation, which I still am, but I feel as though Kendrick is all we have when we're comparing it to the garbage we get.
No, that you see, you're not. All right, I'm gonna give you a brother. He's on my album, and he's underrated and he's mad dope. You ever heard of a cat named Ill Conscious?
I have not heard of him.
See what I'm saying? Because you caught up in the hollow head suction. That middle, that white bread middle of the road type shit, that rap that so that they pushing on us. It's a cancer, man. It's AIDS. It's fucking the STD, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's gonorrhea, man, of the mind. You know what I'm saying? Ill Conscious is one of the illest, underrated rappers out of Baltimore, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nice. He's nice. He's nice, son. He'll crush Kendrick Lamar, man. Crush.
Okay, what are your thoughts on like a Benny the Butcher? How about him?
Okay, the whole Griselda, because have you ever heard their stuff before they was like really Griselda?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they all had different styles and everything, right? They was right there with, the golden era. Everybody was rapping the way they was rapping. Everybody was Raekwon and all that, right? Okay, so that was them, and that's what they did, and that's what's up. But they had to reformulate. They patterned their shit after Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? And Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? But the funny shit is this, though. So Wu-Tang had the Asian cinema, right? A lot of brothers was using Asian cinema, like Afu Ra, right? Fu Schnickens. A lot of people was using martial art movies. J. Rue the Damager, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they couldn't come with that. They come with wrestling. I'm like, oh God, that is the most corniest shit you could
I
ever
agree.
do.
I do agree with that. I don't like that. I think that's corny. Men in tights. Come on.
Yeah. But they didn't, they couldn't come with consciousness because all that shit they talk is drug dealer talk, drug dealer rap. So that even subdivides too, Max. You know
Mhm.
how? Because we had the pimps, right? We had the conscious Malcolm X rappers, right? Then we came into the drug users rap. Okay, we had the gangster rap. Now we got the drug user rap. Okay, so now that they're drug users, popping perks and all that shit, right?
Mhm.
Now Griselda is the drug dealer rappers. You see, these are the things that tear us down as a people because they know that the machine isn't going to allow a Moses or a Harriet Tubman to bring consciousness to wake the people up. They're not having that. They already get, you know what I'm saying? Before you would hear mad common songs on the radio. The rapper Common,
Mhm.
cats like him, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, mad songs. Now,
You don't hear it at all.
right, because the devil is striving to destroy black music.
I agree.
And they're using Bobby Schmurders and all of that shit, you know what I'm saying, to destroy us as well as themselves because they know we're self-destructive. They put guns in the black community, they put churches in the black community, they put drugs in the black community, they put all these things in the black community to destroy us. And that's what same thing with the music, G. Who's the top black R&B singer right now? Male, female. Right now.
Right now, I mean, female, we gotta say SZA. They'd say SZA's the top one for female. Male, there's
Hold
people
up.
that would
Stop.
probably say
Compare her to anybody. Is she like a who can I say? Um is she like an Anita Baker? Is she like a
no,
Sade?
no.
All right. Come on, man. We gotta talk that home cooked food shit. Not that microwave hungry man TV.
I'm on your side. I agree with you. I'm not with it. I didn't hey, trust me. I'm on your side here. I get. I'm just the thing. Only thing I brought up with Kendrick and Drake is that if this is all you're giving me, if I have to choose between the one, I have to choose Kendrick. But I'm not the biggest Kendrick fan. Like you said, I was a fan when Kendrick was dropping the mixtapes and the Good Kid, Mad City. Anything after that, I'm good on. I don't like it. It's too mainstream.
See, hip hop culture, right? Like who said it good, and I agree with him. The comedian Godfrey. Hip hop was made out of stress and oppression, which was put on us by our oppressors.
Mhm.
Okay, because when you listen to the songs of those early days, and I'm not trying to go back to 100 years ago and say that's what we should be. No, I'm saying what was able to be discussed and what was rapped about was having a great imagination, saying, I got a Cadillac with a window in the back, what I'm saying, digging the scene with the gangster lean, what I'm saying? Those kind of raps. And I got girls on each arm, and I'm the Casanova, here to get over, right? On and on, like hot popcorn and all that. That's the imagination, what they saw success was. But at the same time, you got cats like Melly Mel talking about broken glass everywhere, people pissing in the station like they just don't care, right? Talking about the down, um, how the downtrodden youth, and what I'm saying, and the ghetto, and the living conditions, and the poor education, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? The drug use and all that. So, you know, um, and then I heard Rakim say one time, he said, "Yo, I was writing, I write my raps until I can't write no more. And when I can't write no more, I go out in the world and live life so I have something to write about." You see what I'm saying? These cats is not talking about nothing realistic.
That's true. Yeah, they're not.
You know what I mean? So that's why you got 5 and 3-year-old little girls twerking on the internet.
It's true. Yeah.
You got women, so-called women, making songs about, I ain't having no baby, I'm gonna have an abortion, I'm gonna take that day after pill, and they shooting videos in front of a abortion clinic. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So this is what I'm talking about, the destruction. See, Max, music has so many healing properties to it that if abused, it can destroy people too. Check this out. So when you want to know about, you know the how the people are doing, you got to check out the music. So when you during the civil rights movement, right? What kind of music was they listening to?
Yeah.
You understand? What kind of what was the sound of the music of the people? You know, yeah, they were singing gospel music, but it
Sam
was,
Cooke and stuff like that.
yeah, a change going to come by Sam Cooke and all that, right? And then when we got to you know, the 70s, and it was Black Power and all that, the late 60s, early 70s, it was Black Power, and Marvin Gaye had What's Going On, right?
Hmm.
So, and then when you get to the 80s and 90s, you had Fight the Power. See, now, what's the big song now?
They're not like us, like Kendrick Lamar.
That tells you about the people right there, G. That tells you about it. You know what I'm saying? About sticking thumbs in girls' butts and all that. And yo, you know, booty hole. I mean, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's hip hop, yo. Not on my block, not on my watch. That's that's what it is. What it is poison. That's what it is, man.
I agree. I don't know where the lyrical content. There's no lyrical content there. It really isn't. I think too because I look at like because people like to say Kendrick's the new Tupac, which is just blasphemy to me. And when people compare him to that, because I think Tupac was really someone that with Brenda's Got a Baby, I think that song crossed some big time boundaries at that time, and
Yeah.
that was very courageous during that time. That Kendrick is not making any records close to that.
Let me tell you, Brenda's Got a Baby is one of the illest songs Tupac ever made.
Hmm.
That one, but you know what got me onto him? What got me onto him was that joint he did, They Got Me Trapped. That song,
Hmm.
the video and everything, that was like, yo,
Hmm.
you saying something. And you can see the influence of Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Because what's Pac's background? Black Panthers.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're not part of the solution, bro, you're definitely part of the problem.
That's true.
I heard Farrakhan big up Kendrick Lamar, but that was a clout move. That was a clout move. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not out here in the streets, bringing people together. And another thing too, like I don't know, I just got a problem with it all, brother. I don't want to be up here 8 hours talking about this. I'm just saying, man. Even the clothing is weird. Everything is weird, man. Everything is weird, man. And out here where I'm at in LA, people be people people be like, "Yo, where did you get that from? Where did you get that?" I had a brother stop me in the grocery store, ask me where I get my polo shirt from.
Fashions, that's a whole other issue right now. That I'm someone that because I like Mitchell and Ness. I'm a big jersey guy. I like jerseys and stuff like. I do like polos too. But yeah, the fashion today is just there is no fashion, and it's terrible.
These big leg elephant pants.
Skinny jeans,
I don't know.
the Bass Pro Shop hats. It's wild. It's makes you shake your head. I just don't. I really don't understand the fashion. I really don't.
Jeans was it for me, man. Like once I saw that, I was like, I wish a motherfucker would try to make me ask me if I want to buy a pair. You know what I'm saying? I mean, from that to even the snapbacks is the ugliest hat ever, man. I'm still
Oh,
still a I'm still a fitted man myself.
I have a snapback on, but I like snap.
That's for a 5-year-old.
I got fitteds though, but I wear snapbacks. Do you? Hey, it's better than a Bass Pro Shop hat. I'll tell you. What about those stupid trucker hats too? That people those are terrible. He's laughing.
You're right about that. Those some ugly ass hats too.
They
Um,
are.
but those are for fun. Cause all right, you get a snapback, right?
Hmm.
And brothers put those on, and you got that plastic strip.
Hmm.
Take it off and leave that crazy mark on your head
Hmm.
with dots from the. I'm like, yo, no, get the fitteds, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got all this forehead out, and it's just crazy, man. Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It
Those,
is.
I mean, I don't have my hairline's not receding. I still have my hair,
Hmm.
but those who hairline is receding, snapbacks is not their friend.
No,
It puts too much out in the front street.
it
You know,
does.
hair you can front like you can front for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Or you got a bad hairline like some of my bros do. You know what I'm saying? You can front for a minute, but that snapback game is very revealing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe, it's like it's weird out here, man. So I just say hip hop is in the streets, is not on the
Hmm.
internet. It's not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because back in the days we had the movies, right, Max? We
Hmm.
had Tougher Than Leather, Run DMC. We had
Crush Groove.
Move, right, right, right. So and even the breaking movies, I respect that too. I respect that too. You know what I'm saying? Because it gave you a glimpse of what it was.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
didn't change anything. It gave you a glimpse. Those who are afraid to come to the hood, it give you here's a peekaboo right here. You know what I'm saying? That was fine. That was fine.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But me myself, when it comes to hip hop, man, that's my way of life. You know what I'm saying? That's my culture. You know what I'm saying? And I've done everything there is to do in hip hop, Max. Everything.
I believe it. I know you were down with the Supreme team. You were cool with them in Queens. You got the connection there. I did want to connect kind of your early life story because you were born in
You know
Harlem.
about that.
You were born in Harlem. You get to Queens when you're 9. So how did you really start to get out to Staten Island? Because that's where you would see Killer Priest on the Staten Island ferry.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I was okay, man. Okay, so this is not my first release.
Hmm.
My first release was I used to go by the name Ice Grills, okay, when I was rapping. And I put out an album in 2000. Well, it dropped in 2003. Um,
You're about to re-release that.
yeah, yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Yeah, well, I am. Um, so in the process of recording that album, I used to go to the studio um, in Queens that was up the street from my house, and I met this young lady in there named Bambi, and her and I took a liking to each other, and she liked my rhyme style and all that. So, we started working together, and she lived on Staten Island. So me and her got together, and say I moved to Staten Island with her, and I started writing her lyrics, and then I started messing around making beats too. Um, so that's how I got to Staten Island, and I didn't even know really Staten Island existed till I moved there. You know what I mean? So I met everybody out there. I met Mo the Barber. You know what I'm saying? That's Ghostface cousin. He did the beat. He did the Motherless Child beat. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the first person I met out of Wu-Tang, well, as far as the group, was Method Man.
Wu Nails.
You, yeah, man. Yeah, you know the whole story. But yeah, he was the first one I met. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Method Man. Um, and you know, in the process of me working, I had to get a job after a while, and I have to go. I worked in Queens, and when I go coming home from work, rather, say I would see Priest on the ferry, and he and I started talking. A brother introduced me to Priest, and he and I just hit it off, and we just started building, and I didn't even know what he did. I didn't know, I was just doing my duty. Anybody that come that's interested in the knowledge or having knowledge of self, I'm the man to talk to. So, Priest and I would talk, have those kind of conversations, and one day I'm home, you know, and I turn on Video Music Box, and Killer Priest is on, on the video show, what I'm saying, rapping with Ghostface in them. I was like, wow, that's the guy. I was like, yo, that's the guy I'll be on the ferry with. And when I saw him again, he was like, yeah, saying this is what I do, Wu-Tang, and the name Wu-Tang didn't stick with me. It went right out one ear, went out the other. So one day I was in Queens, and my man who taught me how to make beats, his name is D Tech. He was driving me home to Staten Island one day, and he put in this tape, METHOD Man, right? He's like, yo, I got this shit I want you to hear, G. Check this out. From these dudes from Staten Island. And I didn't like Staten Island. I didn't like living there. I really didn't enjoy it. So I just stayed there because, it's a different environment, you know what I'm saying? Boom. So he played the METHOD joint, and I was like, yo, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? And the Protect Your Neck joint. I didn't like neither one of those songs. Because at that time, I was really big into EPMD and the whole Def Squad, Redman, Das Effects, K Solo, Keith Murray, that, saying Hurricane G. That was what I was listening to at that time. Like, nobody could tell me shit. Okay. And at the time, I was trying to fuck with Eric and them, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I was building with my man Dana Rockwilder. That's my bro. You know what I'm saying? We worked at the same studio and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he was rapping in this group called Nat Turner. And I was trying to meet Redman, meet Eric and them, because Eric had snatched them up. So, but my whole shit was Def Squad, Def Squad, Def Squad, Def Squad, EPMD. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't trying to hear shit. Even though my man played the songs, I was like, nah, man, that shit ain't fucking with this, yo. It ain't fucking with Redman, ain't fucking with none of that. So, as you know, Wu-Tang got popular, you know what I'm saying? And then Bambi started working with RZA's sister, Sophia, as she was trying to co-manage her. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we got it with Wu-Tang because I was working on her demo, and Devon and RZA heard her demo, and they was like, I think the I think RZA wanted her,
Hmm.
and Devon wanted to rock with me, or vice versa. Either way, they want to split us up. And I told Babe, I said, they split us up. It's over for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna be able to write your shit. I ain't gonna have time to write it. And if they have me working on beats for everybody else, it's gonna be like, yo, I ain't gonna have no time for you. You know what I'm saying? So we need to make a decision. So we turned them both down. Um, a little while after that, we moved out of Staten Island, moved to Atlanta, and then RZA's cousin Mook, who was the president of Protect Your Neck Records, came all the way to Atlanta to sign us as a team together, a package deal, and that's how we came out under Protect Your Neck Records. You know,
And he
but
introduced you to RZA. Was it at Quad?
yes, sir,
Mhm.
yes, sir.
Quad
I
Studios.
know that RZA and Devon heard our stuff because RZA's sister Sophia took our stuff to them. I ain't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? That was news to me and shit. You know what I mean? Um, I was like, yo, I'm not separating because if I do, it's over for her. So I wasn't gonna let that happen. But yeah, so when I had came back, I had to come back to New York because my mom passed away. And
Yeah.
when I came back, I stopped by Wu-Tang Records because that's where Mook was working at, and that's when they dropped the Bobby Digital albums and Shaheem albums and all that was through through Wu-Tang Records. Um, and it was distributed by Priority at the time. So I came up to Mook had called me to come up there. I went up to the label, and we was talking for a little while. He was like, "Yo, I want you to go to Quad because RZA and all them going to be up there and shit." And at the time, they was working on Wu-Tang Forever. So me and Bammy had went up there, and we all went up there, and that introduced RZA. Mook had introduced me to RZA at the time. You know what I'm saying? I seen everybody up there. I seen Papa Wu. I seen Uncle Pete. I mean, everybody was up there. Everybody was up there. You know what I'm saying? So, and Quad Studios is the same studio where Pac got shot at.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was different. So a lot of my story intertwines like that because like when I was doing my solo project, which is called Fire and Ice. So where I was recording that at, I was recording that joint. I started recording that joint at the studio where Jam Master Jay got killed at.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that
Mhm.
because we had that studio first. Jay bought it from my man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they recently just caught that guy too. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was his relative. Wasn't it his relative that did it?
I think there's still more to the story. I think,
Hmm.
some other people behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Because there's always a fall guy because Jay was known and
Hmm.
loved by many, you know what I'm
He
saying?
was.
I think it was somebody just like Nipsey. Somebody put that cat up to kill Nipsey, and I think somebody put that dude up to kill Jay. It's always somebody pulling the strings in the background. So I don't think it's this individual or these two guys that went on their own to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody was, they just hired guns to do it. Button men to do it and shit. You know what I mean? But time will tell.
Hmm. It will.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. And no, I mean you've been going around for a while. You've been doing this for a long time. The Capadonna. So when did Capadonna really approach you to manage him? Was this after the pillage? When did this kind of him
Sure.
approach you?
Yes, sir. It's definitely after the pillage.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I was in the process of doing my my DVD, True Grind, and I had interviewed him for the DVD. All right, I had went to Mook's house in Staten Island, me and my cameraman, and I was going to interview Mook, but when I went downstairs, I saw Cap was there. I was like, oh shit. Um, so I just, I talked to Mook and I was like, yeah, yeah, da, da, da. I said, I'm a dip. I said, Cap, can I get a quick interview? He's like, yeah, no problem. So I was like, yo, I'll be outside when you come out. So when he came out, we was talking, and I did a quick interview on him, and he gave me his number. We trade, exchanged numbers, and we kept talking to each other. And he got to know me. I got to know him, and he was like, he's like, yo, I like your flow, G. I like the way I like your whole get down. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do nothing, man. Like, you don't do anything. I was like, yeah, I said, besides eating a little bit too much chocolate, that's about it. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, just he came to my house to see me because he was living in Baltimore at the time. And he was like, yo, I want to talk to you. I was like, all right, I'm at the crib, you know what I'm saying? So he came to Queens, and I was talking to him, and he's like, yo, I want to ask you something. He said, yo, if I asked you to manage me, what would you say? I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, how do you feel about managing me? I said, yo, G, from what I know about management, that's an ugly, ugly, ugly job. And I don't know nothing about management. And excuse me, I don't want to be the one I don't want to be the guy to mess up Capadonna's career. I don't want to go down in history with that title on me. You know what I mean? Um, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't think I don't know. I said, because I like what we got right here. I like this. That's what I told him. I was like, I like this. I don't want to do anything to mess this up. So he was like, nah, bro, don't worry about it. I'm gonna show you everything. Da, da, da. And I was like, nah, man, nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think it'd be wise. He's like, yeah, I don't trust nobody else, man. I can't trust nobody, you know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. And at the time, Cap was homeless. And
Wow.
I was like, yo, I said, I hate to tell you no, G, but I don't want to be one of those, I don't want to mess nothing up. I'm afraid. He's like, just think about it. I was like, okay. I said, give me 3 days. Give me 3 days, and I have an answer for you. He was like, all right. I said, 3 days, G. So I thought about it. The third day, I called him. I said, I have my answer if you're interested. He was like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. Excuse me. So I was like, yo, I turned you down 3 times. And then you gave me 3 days to come up with an answer. And I thought about it long and hard. I called Papa Wu. I spoke to him. I spoke to a few people. And everybody was like, yo, man, I think you're what Kappa needs because everybody else is doing this to him, stealing money and, just playing around and shit. So I was like, I bet. And even one of my bros that I came up in the street with, he wanted to manage him too. But um, I don't know what was going on, but nobody in the clan was feeling him. Like when he came around, it's like he had this crazy aura with him, and brothers wasn't feeling him. So I guess that's the reason why Cap reached out to me. So I just told him, I was like, I bet, man, let's get started. But I said, yo, one, you're responsible for me because I don't know the business. You got to teach me the business. I need you to show me everything. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave me to find things out on my own. You know what I mean? Because you're not an unknown artist. You're very known. You were one of the biggest hip hop groups in the world. And if I do anything to mess that up, it's over for me, bro. I'm gonna have to go live in Siberia. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, yo, I got you, don't worry about it. And we agreed, you know what I mean? And we started working, man. You know what I'm saying? And I learned a lot. He gave me some books to read, and we just started building it from there, G. You know what I'm saying? The shows, how to book shows, and you know what an artist writer is. I didn't know what none of that stuff was. You know what I'm saying? What, you know, loading and yo, itineraries and flights and yo, it was crazy, bro. So, you know, after a while I got a hang of it, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I knew one of the things I knew that I had to do was change the way Cap's business mode was set up. I had to do that. And like that was very serious because he wasn't, you know, being paid promptly and the right amount, and people were taking advantage. And you know, I had to stop all that bullshit. Like
Like
that.
$300, $400 a show I was hearing about.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had to stop all that. You know what I mean? And I told him, I was like, yo, you're not going to go on the road. I mean, if you're going to go on the road, at least let it be worth it. I mean, this right here, this ain't the move, man. So,
No,
you know, I put a stop to that. And even with Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying, I had to get him more money. You know what I'm saying? I had to get him more money. Everybody else, you know, thousands of dollars, and he's just getting a couple of hundred. I was like, yo, nah, I gotta fix that.
hmm
Oh, I actually ended up changing all of that, you know. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fighting, a lot of protesting.
that's real. That's big. I really commend you for that and just getting him on the right path to getting what he's worth because he's one of the all-time MCs. I mean, the Triumph verse, the Ice Cream verse is he's got the Winter Wars. I mean, you
Yeah,
look back, he's a big contributor to the group. I don't like that either when they're like he's the unofficial 10th man. He is a part of Wu-Tang. There's no unofficial 10th member.
they asked him to come with them. He didn't ask to join. They asked him to join.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And you know, people gotta realize, you know, the truth. You know what I'm saying? What they do, man, and answer for it and own it.
Yeah.
You know. So, but yeah, that's that's how me and Cap came to be, man. You know what I mean? And once I got him more money on the road with the clan, like you know, rolling with the clan, that's when I was like, all right, now we being taken seriously because he had other managers before me, and they didn't do it, and they
Mm.
gave up on him, or he fired him, or you know, he was flying dolo for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then you know, so I was like, yo, the first thing I'm gonna do is get your name back in the streets. So I put together like a little mixtape, if you will, called "The Greatest Darts Ever Sold." So it's all of the verses that he ever did on the Wu-Tang albums and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Ghostface albums, Ray albums, whoever album. All of the verses he did in one body of work. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
and I released that. We released that together.
Mhm. No, and you've done work too. You Infamous Mob too. You did some management for them as well.
Yeah, I managed the Infamous Mob, Rapper Noid, you know what I'm saying? I managed Illa G for a little while, but he didn't, you know, he was having some problems, you know what I'm saying, some personal problems, so I had to like let that go. But it was really Noid and Infamous Mob, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's crazy. You know, Noid, that's my brother. I love him to the moon and back, man. Nitty, Godfather, twin. Those are my brothers.
Yeah. Oh, dope MCs for sure. I remember you brought up earlier about the 5% Nation. So when your whole journey of just getting involved with the 5% Nation and everything, did it kind of really spark from meeting Beloved? Because Beloved was the one that wanted you to refer to him as that.
Getting this information from? It's scary, yo. You talking to my people? Um, yeah, beloved.
Rest in
Um,
peace.
right, right. Um, wow. No, I knew about the 5%. I've seen them, but I didn't know what they were because I'm originally from Harlem, from 127th Street. They have a headquarters, a school for the youth, a youth academy on 126th and 7th Avenue. I lived on 127th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. So I used to see them because I went to Harriet Tubman School, which is directly across the street from the projects I lived at, and they was on 126th Street. Okay, so I see them, but I didn't know what was going on over. When I moved to Queens, I had contact with the 5%, but I didn't know what they were. Okay, because there was a lot of drug use in those times, and everybody and their mother was hooked on heroin. So, but when I moved to Queens, I really came in contact with the 5%, and because they was in the schools. So um, that's when I came in contact with them, because some of my classmates were 5%ers, and that's when I first heard what what they talk about and what they teach and what they represent, and what I'm saying. But it was introduced to me as a gang. Like, yo, don't mess with those guys. They'll beat you up and take your lunch money and shit, and take your chain, take your coat. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the guards that used to come to Queens were from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is where you had those stick up guys at. You know what I'm saying? They would go to Queens to stick to rob people, and people from Queens would go to Manhattan to rob people, and cats from Manhattan would go to Queens and the Bronx to rob people. It was crazy. So like it was always shook up. Um, but yeah, that's when I started meeting 5%ers in school. You know what I'm saying? So when I get off the bus, they be right there and they talking. They be in a circle, what I mean, which we call a cipher, and they be speaking, on specific subjects. Um, going through different lessons and teachings. Saying of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, and just spreading the knowledge and teaching the knowledge to each other, making sure that they're fit, they're mentally fit, emotionally fit, and physically fit to go out here and teach the truth to the youth. So that's what they was doing,
Mhm.
you know. Um, and as far as beloved, so you have some brothers that just couldn't give up the life, and beloved was one of those people, even though he was, beloved by many. But saying he was a masterful stick up kid in the hood. And he was like um what's that kid from The Wire with the black trench coat?
Omar.
That's beloved. That's beloved. Like when you see him, somebody's getting it. If you see him, somebody's getting it. Sometimes, but he lived in close proximity of me. So like when he come around the way, he never did no dirt around the way.
Mhm.
He'll go way out somewhere else, Brooklyn or somewhere, Manhattan or, Long Island. He'll go way out somewhere and do that shit. He never did any dirt around the way. So if you see him around the way, he's approachable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I put it like that, Um, but for the most part, that's exactly like he was like a boogeyman. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But he loved the children, and he was a very nice, soft spoken person, man. He wasn't no bully. He didn't like that shit. He kept everywhere he go, he kept it peace everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I never seen Beloved in any kind of trouble, any kind of fight, any kind of argument, never. So, you know what I'm saying? So when I heard he was killed, I was shocked, but at the same time, I was like, yo, and he's the kind of guy like you wouldn't know he was on you until he was up on you. Like he's like a ninja and shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody be like, yo, somebody said they saw Beloved around the corner, and next thing you know, he's right there in your face. Like he's like a boogeyman, G. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, yo, peace. He's talk real slow, you know. Um, love that brother, man. And shout out to his little brother Snoopy. Snoop, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, that was a definite influence on my life as far as the 5% Nation is concerned. I'm still, you know, building and teaching, you know what I'm saying? In fact, the whole God mob is 5%, you know what I mean? So like two members of the God mob I'm teaching, I've taught, and I still have students that I still teach to this day. You know what I mean? So, it's not, and unfortunately, people have you know, a weird perspective of the 5%. Like we are a religion. We're not a religion. We're not a gang. You know what I'm saying? We're not a pro-black or anti-white movement. Like we're not, no militant regime or anything like that. We're righteous men, women, and children. And we accept anybody could be a 5%er. You could be white, purple, green, any color, man. You could become, a member of the 5% Nation. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that prejudice crap. We don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could be a 5%er, and I've taught white people, you know what I mean? So like we're not no racist organization,
Hmm.
you know. So that's it.
That's real. That definitely is. It's a long journey. Just everything that of your life story, getting involved in music, and just this deep becoming affiliated with Wu-Tang. Do you still have these? Because there was these pictures I was seeing. You had like these kind of like, I don't want to say glittery, but they were these shiny your own shirts that you had on there of Iron Sheik. Do you still have those? Do you still sell those with the Wu-Tang symbol with your name on it?
Yeah, those right there are like the ultimate shirts. I don't have them anymore to sell. The brother that was making my shirts for me, his name is Shakim.
Mhm.
With this, he had a company called Ace Face Apparel, and he was making my shirts for me. Um, I'm gonna strive to get to do that myself, because as of lately, I bought myself a little heat press.
Okay.
I'm gonna be doing my own shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be doing my own shirts too. Um, but he's gonna show me how to do those drills. I kind of have an idea how to do it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start that up. You know what I'm saying? Um, the crazy part is I didn't push it because of what's going on with the protesters.
Hmm.
Mhm. Because I have a name for my clothing or my apparel called Icewear. I can't release that right now.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I stands for Iron Chamber Entertainment, an acronym. So I can't really put that out in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta let all this stuff calm down, and then try to release it. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna do the Circle of Iron T-shirts. I'm gonna do the God Mob T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna still do some other things too.
Mhm.
The Iron Shiek T-shirts. So I'm gonna still jump those off too.
Mm. That's fire. It's trash rap and productions.
Trap music.
Yeah.
And nice by putting music on the end, okay?
uh,
Horrible. Horrible. And that, and people couldn't, when I saw people couldn't decipher that, I was like, we're in trouble. Because trap music is nothing but rave music with hard drums.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And rave music is its own genre.
It
I
is.
respect rave music, it was in its own lane. But somebody, had to, you know, deal with some sort of grafting and try to, make this, to start the destruction of hip hop music, man, with that. I'm surprised people fell for that.
Yeah. No, now it's crazy because I've said it should be broken down into different genres, but now when you go to Apple Music or just how it is just in the space of just radio stations, it's all under one category. It's all placed under hip hop.
Max, that was part of the plan. It's
Hmm.
the same. Okay, y'all, look. What they're doing to hip hop music and black music in general is the same plan that they're doing with population control.
Hmm.
It's the same plan. Check this out. Let's go back to the 90s, right? Now you're going to answer this question and you're going to say to yourself, oh shit, I didn't even see that. Watch. When they had the American Music Awards, right? For example, and they have best rap album of the year, right, G?
Hmm.
Best rap album of the year, R. Kelly, the R. He was like, what? R. Kelly's not a rapper. He's an R&B singer,
Hmm.
Pied Piper. Best new rap artist of the year. Okay? Like Erica Badu. What? I'm like, yo, why are they mixing the genres like that?
Mm. They're
Best new rap,
R&B.
Backstreet Boys. What?
Oh, that's garbage. That's
Did this happen or not?
yeah, it did.
Okay. What was they trying to achieve with that? Do you know? Don't
Destruction.
see it? Yeah, but did you see what they're doing with that though? By doing that.
They're trying to turn it into white and commercial. They don't want it gritty. They're moving away from the streets. They don't want it. They don't want it looking the way that hip hop is perceived. It's
That's what I was saying. What they're doing is they're making it one genre,
mm,
one thing. There's no more hip hop. There's no more gangster rap. There's no more, conscious music. There's no more, you know what I mean? It's just hip hop music. And then once they do that, once they get it all one and start calling it entertainment, black entertainment, then they start dismantling it. Get rid of the Common, Talib, get rid of the Rakim, X Clan, get rid of the Public Enemy until we got a bunch of fools left. The same
True.
thing, population control, brother. They
Hmm.
did with this, the same plan,
Yeah.
dividing. And then before, it was multiple artists on top. Gangstar, nice and smooth, right?
Hmm.
They Rule the Damager. You know what I'm saying? The Youngsters, DOS Effects, Redman, Keith Murray, Foxy Brown, Fat Joe. I mean, multiple artists on top. Then what did they do? Once they dismantled it, now it's only one Jay-Z, right? And then one female, whoever was hot at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then one R&B female and one R&B male. They don't have multiples anymore,
Mm-mm.
right? Like when, you know what I'm saying, Big Daddy Kane record go off, and then you had, you know what I'm saying, the next, KRS One come on. They stopped it, G. It's population
Hmm.
control here as well.
That's true. Even when I think about it, because when you think about the even not even just the Grammys, but you'll see like Migos win Best Hip Hop Album, where you have lyrical artists that are better than them, and they should have took home the award. And it's like, all right, if you're gonna have a category for them, we need a category for lyrical hip hop, and they're not gonna do it. And that's everything that you're pointing out right now. It's population control. They put it all in the one genre.
See, we gotta start calling it for what it is. What if somebody started calling you, you know what I'm saying, um, Music Guy Max,
Yeah.
or the DJ Max? You good with that?
No.
I mean, what if we go 20, 20, 25 years from now? People then got away from DJ Max or to Music Max to um, the music guy, M the music guy, Max Headroom, whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, what if it went to that, G? Because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And don't correct it. First, we got to correct it with ourselves first. It's not, you know what I'm saying, lyrical hip hop. It's not a lyrical culture. I mean, it's the culture of hip hop, but being lyrical is part of the music. You gotta, it's rap, man. It's
Right.
not hip hop, yo. MCing is the individual. MC Light, right?
Hmm.
MC, okay? That's the individual. But as a collective, they're rappers.
Hmm.
The same with graffiti. As an individual, you are a graffiti artist. But as a collective, y'all are writers or graffiti writers.
Yeah.
Okay? We got to get back to the origin, man. It ain't that boom bap. That's another fucking ploy. It's not boom bap. It's not boom bap, man. Okay? It's hip hop music. Hip hop music. Okay? Within the music, you have the DJs, producers, and rappers.
Yeah.
Okay?
No.
Within, you know what I'm saying, hip hop dancing, You have the B-boys and the breakers, the poppers, the electric boogie dudes. All it breaks down into categories.
Hmm.
They're all not breakers.
Got to
You know,
get back to how it was.
it's like, yo, we losing. That we're just sitting here letting people just take the culture from us and rename it and all that shit and put, it's like put the fucking footprints on the ground. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, follow the fucking footprints and shit. Like, yo, that's not what this is, man.
No.
It's turning into, but that's not what it originally is.
Mm-mm. It definitely
And that
comes with a lot of accountability with because I know there's a couple artists and I'll throw out a name and I'm actually a huge fan of his, like Busta Rhymes, where I see Busta Rhymes at the red carpet saying, "Oh, we're big Ice Spice fans. We don't care what anyone says." And it's like, why are we co-signing that? Like, why? Why?
a fool because he's doing, bro. He's not gonna speak the truth because if he do, what he has will be taken from him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it a buck, man. Let's
Mm-hmm.
keep it a buck, 99 cents. All right. If he speaks the truth, Nick Cannon speaks the truth. Any of these people speak the truth. What they got, what little bit they do have, they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be outs, just
Mm-hmm.
like Kanye and man. They're gonna be outs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Buster know better because, you know, yo, he wearing dresses too. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I speak the truth. I don't care, man. I don't care. I ain't worried. I am not worried. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care who it is. I gotta speak the truth because that's what the gods do. That's what we do as 5%. You know what I'm saying? We teach the truth, yo. We speak the truth no matter what. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. If you don't like it, then change what you doing. I'm not sitting up here on a pedestal like I'm beyond judgment or beyond ridicule or anything like that. I'm not perfect. I'm still striving. But I ain't wearing no dresses. I ain't talking backwards. I'm not being a fucking hypocrite. I love this culture of rap. You want to call me a gatekeeper? Then yeah, somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't gatekeep, a lot of shit's gonna be out of order, yo. Like now they got a white statue of Martin Luther King. I told people they was gonna do that. I said, yo, watch. If we don't keep an eye on things, in 50 years, 100 years, they're gonna make Martin Luther King out to be a white man, blue eye, blonde hair, blue eyes. They already got a white statue. Eventually, they're gonna change that. And his family is heirs, is wards of the government. In other words, they're paid to keep their mouth shut. They're not going to do anything about that because once you open your mouth, whatever the devil gave you, he's going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
I'm a self-made man. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I don't want the devil. I don't. Yo, look, I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm gonna be somebody's pet, man.
I
I'm not
get
gonna
it.
be that.
No.
I'm not gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people ask me, yo, if you would have, you would be further along if you would have went along. I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm not kissing no dudes. I ain't putting on no lotion, let no nigga run me down. None of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing no dress. I'm not no nothing, bro. Nothing, none of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do that because of what I come from. I come from, you know, like I was raised by men, man. I was raised by men. You know what I mean? I was raised Papa Wu, my Uncle LRB, and the older guards, yo. I can't be. I can't do that and look them in the face. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, I got no problem. I ain't even hung up on that. Yo, when did the Puerto Ricans get? I ain't into none of that dumb shit, man. I ain't into none of that. All that is a trap. That's just to cause us to fight and kill one another, man. That's all that shit is, causing confusion, man. I'm not into any of that dumb shit. I'm too intelligent for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about white people being in enjoying the culture of hip hop. I have no problem with that either. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
don't give a fuck what color you are. But one thing I do have a problem with, for sure, I do have a problem. Two things, man. Two things I have a problem with. One, that fucking breakdancing in the Olympic shit. And number two, the Asians in Asia, like the Japanese and Chinese and all that, the Korean cats, breakdancing and all that shit, and not paying homage.
Mhm.
That is what I have a problem with.
Mm.
Yeah, they could say, yeah, but y'all took our kung fu movies and shit. We didn't take it. We made it popular. Okay? We didn't take it. The British took it and
Mhm.
distributed it to the United States. We watched it. We made it popular. Plus, the origin of martial arts started with the black man anyway.
Yeah,
That's
all
different.
genres of music did pretty when you look at it.
Oh,
Every genre of music
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. But I ain't splitting no atoms.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that these cats in Korea and Japan and all that, spinning on their head, spinning on their elbow and all that shit, and not paying homage to where it came from.
Mhm.
You ever been to Japan?
I have never been.
Yo, son, let me tell you, Japan is a very, in its roots, very, very prejudiced, okay? But they love the black man, but don't like to admit it.
Mm.
They love us, but don't want to admit it, okay? One, if you do any research about samurais and the Bushido, right? In their laws about being a samurai, you gotta have African blood in you to be an actual samurai.
That's
Okay,
crazy. Yeah.
that's true story.
Mhm.
And also, when you go out there, they put on they color their face to be black. The kids, the youth, the hip hoppers, they paint their face black or brown, and they get dreads, all that shit, yo, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's bad. That's deep. That's
Yo, do your own research.
oh my gosh.
You'll see.
Oh God.
I was tripping. I was like, wow. And the women, all Asian women, they love us, yo. They love us. I don't blame them, but I'm saying, yo, stop the cap. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Stop the cap, yo. And the same thing with the Chinese people. You know what I mean? They hate us, yo. Like there's plenty like we got black people in China, you know what I'm saying? And excuse me, African people in China. Now I'm not talking about people from the United States. I'm talking about people from Africa. They was actually kicking them out of China a couple of years ago, like 5 years ago or so, 3, 4, 5 years ago. They was telling them to get out. You know what I'm
man.
saying? And there's some brothers that I know that are in Asia, in Hong Kong and Taiwan, You know what I'm saying? They're very fluent in Mandarin and Cantonese. Okay, and they hear like when they go to the markets, they hear people talk about them, and they surprise them because they know the language. See, this is all perpetuated not just because Chinese people don't like us or Japanese people don't like us or they just don't like us. They don't like us because of the imagery that we portray,
Mhm.
being super ignorant, treating our women foul, how we are being real niggerish. You know what I'm saying? That's the image we portray, and that's how the whole world sees us. So yeah, they're not going to like us. Yeah, they're gonna call us all kinds of names. Yeah, they don't want us to get any land over there. Yeah, they don't want us marrying their daughters. They could like how Paul Mooney say, everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
How did you get involved with hip hop?
Me, from being a baby and just listening to the radio, and my first record was "Ride with Me" by Nelly, and then it just all took off from there. Just as I was a baby when I heard that, so then I heard 50 Cent, and then it just took off, kept building once I got older.
And where you from?
What's that?
Where you from?
I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut, South Norwalk.
Okay, okay. I'm familiar with Connecticut. I'm familiar with Bridgeport and
Okay, yeah, Bridgeport. Yeah, I have cousins there.
yeah, and I used to hang out in Boston too.
Hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? Okay, I could dig it. So you got caught up in right there in the change of everything.
Hmm. Because that's when I was born in '99, so it's.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's when the DMX and the Jay-Z's and the Ja Rules was about to pop off.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying? I could dig it. It was right a little blip and everything, and things started changing. I get it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So my point is, you caught it, you know, out in the suburban areas. You know what I'm saying? And whatever leaked out from the TV or leaked out from what you seen going to school or whatever. That's what you caught. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with. But you know what I'm saying? I have a viewpoint. The further away from the sun you are, the less light, the less heat, the less energy you're gonna get. So I tell kids like, yo, if you are truly a lover of the culture, yo, go to the Bronx, go 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 to the birthplace of hip hop, yo, take a pill and go and see what's what.
Hmm.
Go to Sedgwick, man. Go to Sedgwick and see what's up.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't what it was, but go see,
Hmm.
go make a pilgrimage, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I mean, that's how I look at it, man. That's the only way. You know what I mean? Because people keep, people who couldn't go out to the parks and their moms kept them home, kept them on punishment, shielded them, and they wanted to be involved with hip hop. And then when they go to school Monday morning, they getting teased by everybody that was there. So they develop a hate for that, and then they start listening to goth and rock music and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And these that are in control of the music on you know what I'm saying, Radio One and all that shit. These are the people that started MTV, that didn't allow black music to be played on MTV. These are the people that's running shit now,
Yeah.
that shut down all the labels in New York. Shut it down, bro. It was like, you know, living in the city, you go to shop your demo, you go down 23rd Street, 6th Avenue, 5th Avenue, You go on, you know what I'm saying, in Midtown Manhattan, Times Square, where the BMG building is. You go to the Def Jam, you know what I'm saying? You go to RCA building. You go, you know what I'm saying? You go to all these different record companies, you know what I'm saying? Motown, you go to Universal, you know what I mean? And as you going, you setting up appointments to go see these A&Rs, you bumping into Q-Tip, you bumping into Fife Dog, you bumping into Large Professor, you bumping into, you know what I'm saying? That's what it was.
Hmm.
You go in the lounge area, and I'm there with Dame Grease. He's sitting there waiting to see somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the fuck it was. These new niggas don't know nothing about that, B. They
No, they
don't know
don't.
nothing
Now it's all corporate.
corporate. When they shut down the record company in New York, bro, the buildings were still there, but there was nobody in the offices. All right, they all shut down. Some of them came to Los Angeles. Some of them went to Boston, but they sure enough left New York.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and like they did that for several reasons. They say, well, it was a security issue because people was coming up here and arguing with the staff and being physically violent with the staff, and and that's what I'm like, yeah, but they had to get past security. So if you set up an appointment to go see John Wan or whatever, the A&R, head of marketing or whatever at Yakety Yak Records, you had to sign the book, go upstairs, go past security, go upstairs, and go see your person. You know how they get past security.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So once they get up there, yeah, they do probably smack somebody around up there. I know for sure it's happened. Okay, but that's only because they was being thieves and snakes, not answering, not taking people's calls, not returning people's calls because their check ain't right or the shit ain't being played enough or whatever. You know what I mean? Either way, whatever they promise these artists and they're not fulfilling their obligation, that's why things got crazy. So, Professor Griff,
Oh,
he
he
was
got
like,
kicked out of Public Enemy.
right. Professor Griff, they made him a poster child of this. Like
Hmm.
once he went up there and smacked up people and then turn around and beat up MC Search and all of them, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, yo, we gotta do something about this guy. You know what I'm saying? So everybody starts shutting down and moving out, and you know what I mean? But that's what they said it was. But yo, if y'all wasn't playing fuckery with people's money and shit, it wouldn't have came to that.
Hmm. I agree.
I mean, Ice Cube went up there with some his boys and some baseball bats and did what they did.
It
And that's
needed to be done.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's ugly.
Yeah.
So now we faced with this bullshit as they call the you know, independent world of music, right?
Hmm.
And it's not. It's not independence, man. It's still slavery. How is it independent? You can't pay yourself. Independence, you can pay yourself. But if you uploading your music to a program on somebody's website, Spotify, iTunes, who the fuck is iTunes? Who is that guy? Who's Spotify? What's his name? David Spotify? What's his name? Who is it? You
Yep, you don't
upload
know who it is.
right. You uploading your music to these to a server who don't belong to you. SoundCloud, right?
Hmm.
And they got your music. So they could turn around and white label your shit still. Two, the back end is horrible. You're getting a percentage of a penny. So just to get $1, you got to get eight, if I'm not mistaken, 8,000 streams to make $1.
It's crazy. It doesn't add up. Even
Is
I
that
think Snoop Dogg mentioned that too with the streams.
so? It's not independent.
No.
And then when you your own boss, you got your own company, you self-employed, and you have an EIN number, and you make money, you pay taxes, and you pay yourself a salary. That's independence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And
Huh.
who playing for all of this? Like I said, bro, if these people was not being controlled and they was able to say and do the right thing and say and do the right thing and what they want and didn't wasn't put in danger of losing what they have, we would have been had Puffy with a distribution company, or Puffy and Jay-Z come together and create their own distribution, or 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 Rockefeller distribution and all that, get their own trucks and own boats and distributing music, CDs, thumb drives, whatever the fuck it is. Duda had that, but
Mhm.
they're gonna continue to be slaves and be used as a slave and a tool. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Them to rob the rich. I mean, rob the poor. Excuse me. Use them to rob the poor and live in luxury, being bloodsuckers of the poor.
Sad but
That's what
true.
the 10%. That's what they are, man.
Yeah.
And
Very
they
true.
Puffy and Kanye. They just putting them in timeout. They're gonna
Mhm.
replace them with others.
Oh, you know it. Yeah. It's going to be who's next up now. Now that they're trying to get Puffy out of here, they're packing him up pretty much. They're going to put someone in his place. It's how it is. It's unfortunate, but it's just going to be a never-ending cycle, and it's just everything that you've spoken about. It's been a long interview, man. We've gotten into everything. We got into the new album, your history. I mean, I want to thank you for reaching out, for connecting. I'm going to be supporting you. Circle Iron. I got that in my rotation now. Thank you for reaching out. Is there anything else you want to let the people know about? Anything else that we didn't speak on?
Well, a lot of people don't know I'm a film producer as well. You know what I'm saying? That I make martial art films. You know what I'm saying? And I got a project that I'm working on now called The Lost Tribe of Shaolin. You know what I mean? And I did a little in 2016. I did like a little short concept trailer. I don't know if you're into the martial art films,
Uh,
but
Enter the Dragon, things like that. I've seen the old school ones.
okay, so that's the mainstream kind of, you know what I'm saying? Enter the Dragon, that's mainstream. Jackie Chan is mainstream. I'm talking about like Five Deadly Venoms and
I've seen that Five Deadly Venoms, yeah, and that's all because of Wu-Tang. What they say when I go and watch them, they would put more of the underground ones in there.
yes sir, yes
Mhm.
sir. So that's kind of like the Asian cinema, like Shaw Brothers. That's kind of like my lane. Um, and my concept trailer that I did in 2016 is called The Return of Golden Arms, or Golden Arms Returns. It's on YouTube. now. Um, I had worked with the Toad from Five Deadly Venoms. He's in it.
Ooh.
Um, he's a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? He's mad cool. He was right here in this studio. I had him and I had the centipede here from the flick. You know what I mean? From the movie. You know what I'm saying? Um, and they're gonna both be in my project, Lost Tribe of Shaolin. But I did work with the Toad, Grandmaster Lo Mang. Um, and I love martial art films. Like that's my shit. And it was crazy. I used to be like a young kid with my little Chinese shoes and my Chinese clothes on, eating Chinese food every Saturday at 3 o'clock, watching my drop, my my martial arts theater or whatever, driving movie, and I'm watching Five Daily Venoms or Master Killer or you know what I'm saying? And now to come full circle and meet these people is crazy. It's
Hmm.
like mind boggling. It's like, yo, I'm actually shaking hands with the Toad, yo. That's crazy.
It
Golden on.
is.
You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man. So that's what I'm doing. Another thing too, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna drop I'm gonna put, do a book. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop that. Um, I'm I have a working title. It's called Into the Iron Chamber, but I don't know if I'm gonna keep that title. But I'm definitely gonna do a book. I definitely plan to do a book. Um, and like I said, God Mom coming soon. AZ album. Me and AZ doing something called, we have a little title. Um, I don't want to let that out the bag yet. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the Circle of Iron 2 coming. Oh yeah, Shabazz Disciple got an album and a DVD coming. I did like 5 joints on his project. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother too. So yeah, man, that's what I got. That's what I got going on. Um, yeah, and that's the situation, man.
Hmm.
You know, I'm glad you didn't ask me no sports questions though.
Oh, why is that? Not
Not
sports guy?
nah.
No.
I mean, I love football and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like my team was the Cowboys and the Raiders.
Hmm.
But once I started doing the research about how they get those athletes, I was like, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yeah, I'm done with that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not big into. I mean, I got a Ram hat on because it just goes with the shirt that I'm wearing, and I love. You're out in California now, so I just went with the show. But yeah, I'm really starting to get turned off by football. Just the whole process of the draft, like you said, picking players. A lot of the owners are just they're very racist. I'm not with it any as much as I used to be a football fan. It's really slowly just not in me anymore to be a football fan. I love basketball, but football it's just becoming way too conservative, way too conservative.
Same. All of it's the same.
It really is when you look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same. And the same thing with them too. If
Hmm.
they out, they will lose what they have, man. And
Yeah.
that's a form of buck breaking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like quiet. You're like,
Sad.
damn. It's
Yeah.
like she shutting down everything I like.
No, but it's true. It is true what you're saying. It is all the same. It really is when you look at it. But yeah, football, I will say that though, football's been, yeah, I'm slowly just, plus I'm a Jets fan. I grew up a Jet fan, and it's just, there's no end of the tunnel with that stupid team, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to like the Jets too back in the days with Joe Klecko and
Oh, Gastineau, Sack Exchange, and all that.
yeah, that's when it was the shit. But
Yeah, now they've been
out
trash.
once I found out the slavery that and the buck breaking, I was like, yo, I'm out of here. Done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't mean to. I'll probably step on too many people's toes with the Kendrick Lamar and you know, I hope I didn't, man. But if I did, it needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? It needed to happen. It's overdue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's the other kid name from Degrassi?
Oh, Drake.
Drake.
He doesn't like he doesn't like hey, I'm on the same boat. I used to like him when he first started, but then you start to see the true colors and you're just like, yeah, I'm good on this guy. And he got exposed. He got exposed in the Pusha T beef. He really got exposed with the Kendrick beef, but it should be over for him. It really should be.
I mean, the threaten to take son to the court to
The
sue.
court, yeah, it's over. It's got to be over for him.
Y'all retarded, man. Like, come on, man. And I didn't even see y'all call it a beef, a rap beef. I'm like, where?
Yeah, that's what they call it. That's what's considered the beef now.
Yo, that shit is fucking beyond beef. That's that fucking what you call that shit? That weird beef meat they selling now. That's fucking that beyond meat and shit. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
Yeah.
Never. I don't see how people fall for that. You know,
Yeah.
we used to have. You know, we had whack rappers. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, what's his name? The rapper Duke.
Oh, the hard. Yeah.
Right? Had rap whack shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we dealt with it, and that was the end of it.
Hmm.
Right? We had the hammers. It came and went. But these guys are still, keeping the shit alive and all that jazz. You know what I'm saying? Talking like top five and you know putting their face on the mountain and shit. I'm like, yo, y'all bugging.
It definitely is. It's puzzling. It definitely is. I will say that. But Iron Sheik, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you again for reaching out. And anytime you want to get back on, just let me know. You're always welcome.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? And yo, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep allowing people to express and kick the truth on your platform. That's really important, man.
It is. No, I appreciate that. I'm gonna do whatever that needs to be done for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you, brother.
You already know, man. Peace out, Iron Sheik. I'm looking forward to the upcoming music.
Yes, sir. You
You already
already
know, man.
see. I got my baby on.
Oh yeah, there you go. You got the MP. Was that the MPC?
Yeah,
That's fire.
yeah. She ready to go.
Kai.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, brother. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you need anything, man, please don't hesitate to holler at me, man.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, man. Keep doing your thing. Thank you for
Yes,
all that you do
sir.
for hip hop.
Yes, sir.
You already know, man. Peace out.
Peace.